When I'm at the restaurant, I like my steaks black and blue. Really toasty on the outside, pink on the inside.
I like that too.
Right?
I'll go with that.
The Pittsburgh cut, I think they used to call it. All right. We're talking to different kinds of steaks. Red steaks and yellow steaks on the golf course. Hazard steaks. Take us through, because you just recently had a situation.
Yeah, we've had a lot of times, and I'm watching, especially my students at the Junior Players Golf Academy playing tournaments out of there on the golf course. We're always watching to see if they're proceeding correctly. We take them through, scenarios and teach them what to do, but when it comes to doing it on the golf course, it doesn't always happen. So let's talk about the difference between yellow and red stakes. Okay, yellow stakes, they mark what we call a hazard. Red stakes, like this shirt, lateral hazard.
Okay.
Generally, when you're playing the hole and you have red stakes, you're going to find them to be on the side of a hole. Okay, that's why they're called lateral stakes. They generally run parallel to the hole the water hazard does. You generally don't have to hit over it. It's off to the side. The 18th at Harbortown, that whole left side is marked red. Okay. If you get on the yellow stakes, then we have to hit over. Okay. Now, let's talk about what happens when you hit in a hazard. The first thing that happens is you have to identify, if you know for sure that your ball went into the hazard, where's the last point that the ball crossed the margin of the hazard? Okay. After you determine that, if you're dealing with yellow stakes, you have a couple different options. Okay, the first, you can always go back and play the ball from where you just played it from. That's always an option. Second, you can go back as far as you want, keeping that point where your ball last crossed the margin of the hazard and the pin in the same line and drop on that line. Do you remember a little something that happened in the Masters last year?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tiger dropped the ball in the area from where he kind of last played it, but it wasn't as exact as it should have been. Therefore, he got penalized 2 strokes from playing from a wrong place. They made him, they corrected his card before he got done and so on. So you've got to make sure that you know that you're either playing from where you just played from, or that you're proceeding properly with the yellow and going back as far as you want, keeping that point and the pin in the same line, and you drop on that line. You don't stand on that line and drop off to the side. You make sure you drop right on that line.
Okay.
Now the red stakes, they make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more easier for you, okay? They give you 2 additional options. Your first is that we mark the place where the ball went in. So let's say we're playing a hole, we hit it and the ball slices into the hazard that's right here.
Pick the spot.
Okay, we have to pick a spot where we're across, but sometimes with the red, it's not possible to go behind that spot and drop the ball, or you'll still be in that hazard. So they give you the option of dropping out 2 club lengths from that point. So that's the big difference with red, is that you can drop out 2 club lengths from the point where your ball entered the hazard. Also, let's say it's a little creek that you hit into, but when you drop the ball on this side of the creek, there might be a tree there. Well, you have another option with red stakes. You can go to the other side of that creek, equidistant from the hole, and drop the ball there. Now, sometimes you might have a big, obviously you can't go all the way over to Defusky Island and drop the ball over there. You're playing 18th at Harbortown. Let me see, I want to play from here. Let me see, I'll stay right here. But if the creek is small enough, or the body of water or the hazard, you can sometimes go to the other side, and it can actually pay off and give you a better play based on what your position is if you go to where the ball entered. So, once again, keep in mind, yellow stakes, you always have to either play from where you just played from, or get that point where the ball last crossed the margin of the hazard and go back and drop along that line. But with the red, you have a couple different options. Like I said, you can drop off to the side, 2 club lengths from where it entered, or go to the other bank. Your ball is in a hazard if any part of it is over the line where the paint is or the stakes. It's not like your whole ball has to be in. If any part of the ball is touching it, you're in it. Okay.
That's why I like drop areas a whole lot better. You take all of this out of the way. You just drop it where they tell you to. Put it in a circle and go.
Yeah, the drop area is definitely on tour. They make it a lot easier. That's all the time we have for this week. For Bob Stevens, I'm Chris Tremblay. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.